Hi, everyone. How are you? And thank you for joining. It's been 2 weeks since our last call. And for this call, I'm in a different place. I'm in a different place. I moved across the country. I moved to Pasadena, California. So if you know anything cool to do or anyone in Pasadena, California, I'm new here. This is not where I live. This is kind of like an office in the building where I'm staying. So I'm in a little echoey office room. So I hope that audio is not echoey because I didn't have a chance to test it, but now I hear the echo. And also, I'll be in Toronto. I'll have free time on Thursday. I'm there for a speaking engagement, and if anybody wants to hang out or say hi or tell me what to do in Toronto, that would be super cool. Also, um, so that's some fun things. For today, I thought, like always, I would take questions from whoever wants to post questions. You can post questions in the chat. I'll start the chat by saying hello. If you're on the call but don't chat, I won't know who you are on the call. I only know people on the call who chat because, for privacy reasons, I believe YouTube doesn't show me who's on the call, and I don't see anybody's name, and unless people actually write something in the chat. So, if you are one of my Udemy students, which for the most part, this call is for my Udemy students. This call is for you and is to ask questions. If you're working on anything, likely SEO, professional skills, productivity, maybe affiliate marketing. A lot of people who join my calls, they typically work on those kinds of things. So if you're working on anything, we can discuss that. That's a priority for this kind of a call, like always. And I do have a little bit of an agenda that I pre-planned for this call, and we're going to try to create a mobile app together from scratch. I'm going to share a screen. We're going to do it all together because I know a lot of people, like, always ask me, how do you create an app? What technology do you use? How do you make an app so that it can live on Android and iPhone? How do you promote an app? So I have a lot of experience in the mobile app world, but I haven't built apps for a while. So it'll be a kind of a fun thing to do for us together. We'll see how far we get. And that's it. There's not a tremendous amount more, but I think building an app is actually kind of cool, and we'll have a little bit of a focused approach. So again, if you are just joining the call, welcome, and introduce yourself in the chat. The more people chat, the more fun this call is. I used to do these calls through Zoom, and people could see each other and talk, and it was more engaging. I'm probably going to go back to Zoom maybe around October, November. I'm going to try a few sessions on Zoom because I know it's more fun for people. But still, because it's just me talking and everybody else is typing in chat, um, well, just type in chat. I know it's a little bit less fun, but that's what we have. Also, this particular channel, I started it in about 2012, and it was popular back then. I got almost 40 or 35,000 subscribers, but then I left it for a while. And what happens is when you leave your channel for a while, it kind of loses monetization. And then you have to build up like 3,000 hours watched per year or 4,000 hours watched per year, different thresholds. And I hit a 3,000 hours. I'm kind of trying to build up this channel. So I hit the 3,000 hour mark earlier this week. So they enabled monetization, not ads, but they enabled, like, if people want to use super chats, it's not a requirement. I answer everybody's question for free anyway. But if you like this kind of call and you enjoy it, feel welcome to do super chat. I believe it's only possible live during the call. I've never actually gotten one. I've never asked for one, but it'd be kind of a fun thing anyway, if you like it. Now, again, I'll interrupt this call if anybody has questions, if anybody wants to say something. I'll interrupt what I'm showing, and I'll jump to addressing your question, because the main point of this call is to answer questions of Udemy students or anybody coming from YouTube. That's the main point. So I'll be doing that as a first priority. But while there's not a lot of questions, I'm going to jump to the mobile app that we're going to create together. So first, people always ask, well, actually, even before first, the zeroth, what's my background in mobile apps? Back in like a million years ago, 2000 whatever. I was a computer science graduate, and for a few years I worked as a software engineer. And then at some point, mobile apps became popular, and I, on my own, independently, built an app. Really, I just wanted to learn a new technology back then. As a programmer, you always have to learn new technologies, but I just wanted to get a job. So I built a mobile app so that I can show people, hey, I've got this portfolio of mobile apps. But then the mobile app that I built actually became successful. It's a business planning app. And on this app, I let people ask questions, and people were asking all kinds of like business questions. It was a business planning app, and people were asking me all these kinds of questions. Same questions, they're very repetitive. How do I start this business? How do I start that business? So I started making YouTube videos on this channel. And after those YouTube videos, they're very bad. If you want to have an experiment and see how bad they were, maybe still are, you can order my videos by first created and see the way younger me, sadly to say, but um, a way worse presenter, also me. You can go to the Wayback One machine and see those. It's a little embarrassing, but I left those just for fun. But in any case, those videos, after a while, I learned, oh, videos, I can make courses. And that's actually how I got into Udemy, is through this app that became a little bit popular. By a little bit, I think it got between 2 and 3 million downloads altogether. I ultimately made like an app series. It was a business planning app, marketing app, fundraising app, and all this kind of stuff. And so I actually wrote a book on mobile app marketing, some courses, etc. And that book was popular for quite a while. Um, Now it's a little dated, but then back then it did well, and I was a little bit known in the mobile app world. Like I was on all the big podcasts. People sort of like reached out to me, like, "Hey, who is this guy, Alex Ganadinik? He knows about marketing apps," and I did. Like I got all the millions of downloads like for free through mobile app search. So that worked out. In any case, so I was a little bit famous in that universe, that mobile app universe, in like 2013, 14, 15. But over time, as my Udemy became more popular, I focused more on Udemy. It became just impossible for me to keep maintaining the apps because I have to program them. And I couldn't maintain them. And so I had to take them down. They're down now because they just got bad, because they got outdated, and nobody was, like people weren't happy. Some features started being buggy. It was just like bad for representing me. So I took those apps down. Just couldn't program it. And even if you hire a programmer, I did for a while, and just it was hard to manage them. So that's just a little bit of my background. So I know this space, even though my knowledge in this space may be a little dated, but I don't think this space has particularly evolved for a while. Like it's kind of similar, just got more competitive, but similar. It hasn't drastically changed. So if we ever launch an app, which supposedly we could, with AI, they say you can make an app in 10 minutes, which we'll try on this call. If you made an app, we can try to promote it and see how that goes. So we can have that conversation. Usually before you make anything, you need to have a business plan, a marketing plan, a cohesive strategy of how everything will work together. Now it's actually so much easier that we don't really need to plan it out. We can just make stuff, change it, make stuff, change it. We can just play around. Although planning is good, which we'll do a little bit of in the call. I'll show you how to plan a mobile app as well. The major challenges in the mobile app is how you're going to get marketing, the distribution, how you're going to monetize your app. And traditionally, building the app has been a tremendous challenge for people. Without AI and without no-code solutions, you'd have to hire an agency or a single engineer if you're not a programmer. You would have to wait a month or two, pay thousands and thousands, maybe in the 5 digits, 20,000, I don't know. Ultimately, you launch your app and then you get no downloads, and every time you want to make an update, you have to pay the engineer. It is a very horrible, painful process. Today, it's simplified. You can drag and drop. So the software we're going to use, by the way, I have no relationship with the software. I think it's just kind of a standard. There's a lot of software you can use today. You can use no code solution, partial code solution, what's called low code. You can use drag and drop. We're going to use drag and drop, the easiest one. It's from, maybe you've heard in the mobile app universe, a tool called Flutter. Flutter is kind of for developers, but there's a Flutter Flow or Flutter whatever. We'll use it. It's just a drag and drop solution. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So that if you're not a programmer, you can have an app, either to start your own app business or to add an app to your current business. Not saying you should have it or it's needed. I gotta Sometimes I get a buzz on my phone. I just want to make sure people can get into the call. But that wasn't part of it. So yeah. And if anybody has any questions or thought of mobile apps that they wanted to make or thinking about, post them in the comments so we can actually do something relevant and I can talk about things that are relevant for you. Don't just be a listener, be a participant, because it also is honestly just more fun for me, because when people participate in the chat, it's more exciting for me, because at times these office hours, they've gone like 1, 2, sometimes more hours. And yeah, if I just talk into space, it's I could talk into space, but it's way better interacting. So yeah, please say hello, feel welcome. It's a friendly atmosphere. We've never had a troll here. There's nobody who's ever been mean or bad. Everybody is very supportive. If you're coming from Udemy, probably you're working on something. We're all working on something, so we're all kind of in the same boat together. So a lot of people also will probably have the same questions as you might have. So anyway, just my encouragement to leave questions in the chat. It's open. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to do a super chat, totally not a requirement, but it will be kind of fun to receive for me. Sometimes it's like $1. Like, what is it going to do for me? But it's just, I think it's more fun and entertaining than anything else. In any case, let me share my screen. I'll check back every minute or two to see if I got any comments, because it's the only way I can tell if anybody has commented, by looking back into the YouTube interface. But for now, let me share my screen. I have the Flutterflow application open. We're going to start using the app like right from the beginning. And if you have questions, let me know. I'm worried the screen might be a little too tiny. I'll try to verbally also walk you through everything that I do as well. So let me share my screen and we'll start it. And whoever did usability in YouTube for share screen, they put the share screen button next to end stream button. So close. I've already, like, over time, I've already, every live session that I have, I've almost pressed the end stream button by accident when I was sharing stream. And hey, Dante, how are you? Good to see you back. And good to see you back. It's hard to catch when you're on. I know I need a more regular time, but the main problem is that I myself don't know when I'll have free time to do this call today. I had to get the kids to sleep. I had to do this and that. It was like a heroic move just to make this, because I also moved across the country. I'm in California now. By the way, if anybody's in California, type in the chat. I'm new here in Pasadena, California. I don't know anybody. But in any case, I had to figure out the time zones. It was a mess, because before it was Eastern time. Eastern time is so much easier, because if I didn't call at like 8 p.m., I could still get some people in Europe on. But now if I do a call at 8 p.m., it's like 11 in East Coast. Everybody in Europe is sleeping. But maybe the Pacific time of America is easier for people in Asia. I don't know. Everything is new. So anyway, it's long answer to, it's really hard to time these for me and know when. Yeah. Thanks. I'm kind of sitting in. This is not, I don't know if you're joining, but this is not my home. There's like a building where I live now. There's an office area. So I'm in this office. It's a little echoey, but it's nice that nobody else here. If anybody walks in, it'll be like a little weird, because they'll be like, who is this person just talking into space? Anyway, hey, Evangelos, how are you? Thanks for saying hi. I like that people are participating in the chat. I never know how recently people joined, and I never know what people missed that I said and didn't. But in any case, we're building a mobile app. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. I'll interrupt, because we usually spend a long time together on these kinds of calls anyway. So let me finally share my screen. We'll go to Flutterflow and we'll do everything from absolute scratch. So share screen, everything, share. I hope you can see my screen. And this is Flutterflow. Now, this is a super, super cluttered screen. It's not usually this cluttered. The reason it's a little more cluttered is because I have this tutorial so that we can all see what the elements are that you can drop into this app, so that you like build this app, and as you can see, as you can hover over different elements, change it. But first, let's actually go through the tutorial, just because I think it will help everybody. I left the screen exactly on step one of the tutorial, so that nobody gets left behind and it's easy to follow. If you're watching this now or when the session ends, you can pause it and also watch it together. So it's just everything we're going to do together. So anyway, adding new widgets to the page is the first tutorial. In little text, it might be too little to see in a shared screen. Some people are on the phone, so I'll walk you through whatever it says. In the widget palette, which is tab 1, I don't know what is tab 1 here. This is, by the way, a lot of times when I show stuff, I know what I'm doing. Here, I'm early. I'm just getting started using the software. So when they talk about widget palette, I don't know what they're talking about. Tab +1, but I don't know where the tabs are. We'll, I guess, figure them out. Search for the list view widget in the layout. I guess it's the, by the way, if anybody wants to help me, and if I'm being a little slow and people are like, hey, the widget palette is right there. I guess this is the widgets, right? Common used elements. That's what they're talking about. Drag and drop the list view. So you have to find the list view. List view are super common in apps because a lot of times, find me this. Okay, it's a list. So list view, but where is the list view? So I'm looking on the left side here. Text, column, row, button, image. No, I guess you can find stuff. Let's see. Layout elements, column, list view. So we have this list view, and they say drag and drop the list view widget beneath highest rated. So highest rated is right there. So we're going to drop this list view. Great. Dropped it. At the top of the widget palette, click on the templates icon. Templates, templates, templates. Components, templates. So maybe this. I feel like I'm clicking in it and it's not. Oh, there it is. Okay, templates icon. Search for travel card. I don't know why it's a little slow. Card. It found nothing. Card views. Okay, let's make a travel app. I guess that's what we're doing. It's not what I wanted to make, but whatever. Let's go. What is the next step? I'm like a little bit impatient already. Drag and drop the travel card in the list view. Okie dokie. So we have our list view. I guess it will be in here. That's our list view. Oh, so we can make another card maybe. So we can scroll the cards. So we can see it scroll, scroll, scroll. I hope we can scroll. For some reason, it's not scrolling. Try to move a widget to its whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, if anybody can tell me, let me switch back to how do I go to tutorial step, not 1, but 2. Tutorial step 2, please. I did it. I think I did this thing that they asked me. What am I missing here? Anybody would comment? Hey, okay, I'm a geek too. I'm a geek too. I'm checking the comments, Evangelos. Okay, we're all gonna be geeks here, yes, and just drag and drop, yeah. But look, when I drag and drop, I did drag and drop. What I'm really trying to do is I think it's not letting me get past tutorial step 1 because I didn't drag and drop correctly. So at the top of the widget palette, it says number 3, tab +1. What the hell is that? Page selector widget tree is not a widget palette. Widget, okay, I guess this is the widget palette that they call. Tab +1. Click on the templates icon. If anybody sees where the templates icon is, base elements, page elements from form. I hope it's not too boring, but I'm trying to find, well, I'm really trying to mouse over so that everybody else can see theme widgets, template widgets. All right, we got it. Template icon. Okay, so should we? I don't know. Um, widget palette one. Don't know what they're talking about. Maybe if I make it like bigger, I can see better what they want from me. They're opening like widget tree, right? Pages, home page. So I'm supposed to make a page. How's everybody doing? Is everybody as confused as I am, or are people not as confused? If you see what I'm supposed to do, let's read it carefully. I'm trying to do this fast so it's not boring. But I think in doing it fast, I'm skipping things and I'm skimming and I'm making it more boring. So let me slow down. Okay, in the widget palette, I'm on point one. Search for the list view widget in the layout element group. We did that. Actually, never mind. So this is step two. It was just covered by, step two was covered by, in my screen, there's a sharing widget from YouTube. So because I'm sharing the screen, editing widget properties. So what am I supposed to do? Here, this is, what is this diamond thing? Components and custom widgets. And then this is, okay. So select highest rated. There was, I saw somewhere, I wish you could highest rated. Does anybody see highest rated? I don't see. Like I thought I could highest rated text widget, but I didn't see that. Maybe text widget. And under that, there's a highest. This tutorial is so confusing. I thought like drag and drop is supposed to be for people who, like can just figure it out on the fly. Okay, let's see what is happening here. Sorry if it's boring. I'm going to try my best to make it not boring. I'm just trying to figure out the interface. Usually it takes like a couple of minutes and then you sort of get used to it. But maybe it's not so bad if we do it together. Like it's not boring with company. So let's see. Yeah, and if anybody wants to say help me here in the comments, that'll be great. So whatever. Let's see what the next thing is. So creating a new page, that's super useful in the page selector. So let's go projects. I've got my test app. Let's just build our app. It's so much easier. So you can like page title. I want to edit it, but I don't know. Like, see if I double click this, I don't know where to edit. Maybe it's here, test. Let's see, it's thinking and updating something. Yeah, see, the little test is text. So I don't want the little test. Maybe, this is the page title. So like, hello world. Okay, perfect. Now the app that I wanted to build, like an actual real idea, is I wanted to build an app that tells people like the highest rising cryptocurrencies in the last like hour. So it's like for trading, or for finding like good cryptocurrencies, like meme stocks or something to invest in that's not Bitcoin. Everybody knows Bitcoin anyway. Don't need to be told about that. But the little ones that are about to jump, this is kind of an interesting universe. So I wanted to build an app like that. So let's say hello world instead of hello world, we'll say welcome to, like, we'll call it crypto trader. but not actually Crypto Finder. Maybe we'll name it that way. I don't think we need that little text because it's just too cluttered anyway. I wanted to delete it, but it doesn't let me. Cannot be empty. Maybe I'll make something like this. No. Maybe welcome, and then here I'll say to Crypto Finder. So it takes a little second to update it. So now we have welcome to Crypto Finder. Now we need to drop the widget. Anybody with ideas of what widgets they would want to drop? You know, it's a good point, Evangelos, about not about using Lovable or Cursor, because I was considering that in the first place. Like, let me talk about that because that's a good point, actually. Let me stop sharing just because the screen is crazy. So the reason I chose not to go with Lovable because I've used a tool like that, like Replit. I've used a tool like that for a while to build a website and to build like a software, like as a service business. So I've used them a bunch. But when I was researching what I should do to build an app, um, this Flutterflow was like the most, I guess, standard thing because you have so much control because of the drag and drop. I guess the Lovable like builds your app for you, but the problem with it, and I've used it, like I have an account, is because it's no code. If you ever make something complicated with it and it creates bugs, which it like inevitably creates bugs, like this kind of software right now, it's like a junior developer. The like low code or no code, Lovable, Base 44, Replit, a lot of them, they're very much like a junior developer. They're not like they're like a genius, but kind of with problems. So junior developer level. So if you run into problems and you need to get it unstuck, or like it's making some bug and it's like programming in some direction, but you don't know exactly what it's doing because you see no code and not even a high level explanation of what it's really doing behind the scenes. If that happens, you have no way to tell the AI to like, hey, AI, go back because that's like AI just it doesn't do that. It gets stuck. When I was using Replit will make any software for you like in minutes, but buggy and not exactly how you want it. If you wanted to make things how you need it, you need to like give it a prompt, it will make something for you, and then you have to give it a million other prompts. I'll tell you a real story that happened. So I was building maybe people who are on this call, not the first time, like for who've been on this call before, know that I'm building a B2B email outreach tool on my own time. Basically, because I want to promote this cryptocurrency that I launched, and I need an email system. And instead of paying an existing one, I'm like building my own. That like I planned it to have like AI would take over your inbox and sell on your behalf, right? So it's like email sales, but you're not the one selling. It's like AI doing the sales. And so I wanted to build it, and I was using Replit to build it. And I started to build it in like early July or something. So a while back now. And in the first few days, it was amazing. Like I was building it, I built the homepage, I built the website, it was up, I built the login, and blah, blah, blah. And then I started having bugs because it just started being a little complicated because I had to integrate emails and login and accounts, and it had to be actually robust, like an actual tool that you would use. And this Replit just broke, not in terms of like doesn't work. It worked, but it was not building anything remotely close to what I kept asking it. And I knew about how to prompt it. I knew about how to debug it. Like I'm a former software engineer, so I knew the technologies it was using. I was able to like kind of riff with it, but every feature was taking so long that actually the Flutter flow, you have the control, right? You like this widget there, that widget here, blah, 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 blah. And so even though the initial learning curve is a little steep, like we're encountering, it's more powerful in terms of actually getting you what you want faster, I think, than the no code or low code solutions. And I would be so happy if no code or low code solutions would be available and actually good enough, because I would prefer them. And I've tried to use them so much, but they're just not, it's so hard to build good stuff with them right now, like actual complex tools. Easy websites, definitely. Super easy widgets or software, definitely. Anything remotely complex, you're gonna be like really regretting it. And by the way, another reason not to do it, maybe even a better reason, is that you get only a certain number of requests for programming. So like you'll say, build me this feature, that feature, this feature, and then it will tell you you're out of requests, but you're in the middle of a project, so you need more requests. You got to pay as you go. So I ended up like paying way more than what the account says. I ended up paying way more than what the account price had. So that's another thing, is like the cost is actually way more than Flutterflow in the end if you want to really build something significant. If you want to build a toy app, maybe like let Flutterflow or let Lovable or Base 44 other no-code solutions do it for you. But anything complex, you really, I think Flutterflow will be the solution today. So hopefully that was not uh, horribly long. It was horribly long answer, but I tried to be thorough, because it does feel like, if you take it at face value, it does feel like the no code or low code solutions should be the first option today. I think there will be a first option in a year or two, hopefully, but I think today is still not ready. Basically, that's it. They advertise themselves like they can do anything, but in reality, like, I had a really horrible time with Replit, and I'm still like, it's like dragging, like pulling teeth with Replit. And I like Replit, but it's hard. Okay, having said that, because the no code or low code solutions are a little bit of a pain still, let's go back to the pain of learning Flutterflow. So I'm going to share my screen. By the way, I see a lot of, I built a email server and do have email service active currently with 10K plus users. Hey, that's cool. Um, how did you build an email server, by yourself or with AI? I'm going to come back to this chat. Yeah, go ahead and answer, but I'm going to go back to the chat because I'm going to try to figure out a little bit more about Flutterflow, how to use it, and then we'll come back to the chat. Um, and by the way, since there's a lot of us here, and also a lot of people watch on replay, like way more people watch on replay than live. So if you ever join this live and the super chat option, or if you're live and you want to use the super chat option, it probably won't be that much money, but the super chats are very tiny, and YouTube takes 30% anyway. But it's actually more fun for me just because I've never gotten one. I just got my account to that level, so it's more for fun than anything. It'll be like my first super chat. But in any case, that's only if you want to. It's only optional. Answer all the questions for free anyway. There's no paywall or anything like that. I do everything for free. In any case, let's share my screen again, and then we'll look at more about Flutterflow. So share screen. Okay, we got our fancy app here. I guess you can have text, you can enroll. So what I want to do is I actually do want to create like a list view, because that's super, but I want to label it. So maybe what if you create a container, and the container will be like, interesting. What am I supposed to put in this container? I was hoping to put the list view, but the list view sort of lives by itself. So let's go list view. How does button look like? Ugly button. Let's not use that. Okay, so we're gonna use the list view. It was somewhere here, not form elements. I remember scrolling a lot. If anybody sees the list view, it's hard for you to scream because I kind of have it's silent list view. So so we have our list, and what I want to put into the list are items like image. But um, actually, I want to put a text. No, I think here I want to put a container. No, what I want to do is have a list, but a list of like things. So I want to put a text into the list, not over the list. Like I don't know, this is too confusing. Maybe I should have followed the tutorial a little closer. But what I wanted to do is maybe a column. Yeah. So what I wanted to do is maybe to have a list with columns, and the columns would have like if you're looking up cryptocurrencies, like ticker symbol, price, latest, price action, all this kind of stuff. But I don't see how to do this. This is kind of very hard. I thought before doing this call that this software is so simple that I can just figure out, hey, thank you for the super chat. Just saw it. You are my first super chat. Thank you very much. That's really cool. Thank you. And it's a generous one too. €5. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. I honestly thought nobody would ever super chat me, but I'm gonna like it and heart it if I can. I'm gonna see what else nice things I can do here to this, but I think that's the only thing. Thank you. I think I can give you a sticker, but I don't think you need a sticker. Oh, it says the time that I had to reply to your super chat expired. But I appreciate it. That's really nice and generous. If you want, as a thank you, actually for everybody, I have Udemy courses here. And actually, you know what? This is a cool idea that Evangelos, if you like any of my Udemy courses, please let me know which one. And you can browse them now, and I'll send you a free link to. I'll make you a coupon that if you want entrance into any of my courses, I'll give you a free link, so you can join the course for free. Because I really appreciate what you did. So if anybody wants to do any kind of super chat, as low as $1 is fine. Also, can have any course of mine, I'll send you. So it's actually the cheapest way to buy courses. Now that I think about it, it's really the cheapest way to buy courses. So if you'd like to buy any of my courses on Udemy, they're $9.99. Presumably, you know me because of Udemy. So their $9.99 is like the lowest price you can get, and it's like special discount, like on Black Friday or like a quarterly sale. But or sometimes the instructor has a sale, but if there's no such sale, the prices are usually like $11.99 or whatever. But if anybody wants to do a super chat and tell me which course they want right on this call, or you can actually email me as well. But the super chats are like just during this call, I think they're live. So if anybody wants to email me with what they want, that's also optional. That's actually a good idea. It's better for you because it's not just for free. You get a course for a cheaper price than possible on Udemy. And it's actually cooler for me because I like getting super chat, feels nice and special when you're on the receiving end. And yeah, Evangelos, if there's anything that you actually want to talk about or anything you're working on, you do the super chat. Usually the culture of super chats is like, answering any issues that you're working on or questions. I already do it for free, but if you want to focus on something, we can definitely do it. You said, I'm going to just read your comment quickly because I'm just got to read. Thank you. You can give it someone on the call as they probably need more than me. That's very nice and generous. I appreciate it. What do you do? What are you working on? Do you have like an online business that you do? And Are you in my courses, or how did you hear about? Did you just come across this from YouTube, or yeah? So while I'm waiting for that, I know it's a little boring, but bear with me because I'm going to share my screen again and I'm going to try to figure out this Flutterflow because next time, I promise, I'm going to watch a bunch of tutorials. I'm going to figure out Flutterflow. It's going to be a like a way better presentation. We're actually going to build an app. Today, I thought it's going to be like super intuitive because it's advertised as like drag and drop, but I guess they didn't account that I'm an idiot, or they thought it's intuitive if you're smarter than me. This is really the test, I guess. Like it's intuitive if you're not Alex. That's me. Um, but I guess I'm below who they aimed for. But let me try to share my screen again. But I promise next time it will be better. Share screen. Um, cool. I see your comment. Service provider and email hosting, entrepreneur service provider, email hosting, live stream. That's cool. If you want to, I know that YouTube doesn't allow you to post links into here, but if you want to send me a link to your business, um, to my email, I'll drop my email again here. I'll check my email and then I'll be able to post a link to your business in the chat so you get a little promotion. And if people want to learn more, they can. Because it sounds useful, right? Like entrepreneur service provider and email hosting, a lot of the stuff in live stream hosting, a lot of the stuff is very useful. So I'll check my email in a second, or let me know if you've emailed me your website so I can repost it in the chat. Um, okay, let me share screen again. We'll try again. We will try again in the Flutterflow while I'm waiting for the email. So here is our ugly app. So there's a container, row, column, but they all kind of feel the same, like a card, list view. What is it? Replace child widget. I don't know. I don't even know what the stack is. Grid view. I guess the grid view is yeah, replace. So this is a weird looking grid view. What am I supposed to do here? So grid view, let's label it test grid. Let's see where so it goes there. And then what am I supposed to know? All of these things. I guess I see it's like you're telling it where it's supposed to be, but you can just drag and drop it. So why are you telling it this way? What is shrink wrap? Don't know. Primary, don't know what that is. Tab bar, definitely one of those. So let's put a tab bar here. Like, okay, why does it look so ugly? I'm trying to move and drag and drop it, but it's not dragging and dropping. Let's delete everything. Tab bar is here. Weird. Let's get rid of this. And now let's put a tab bar. Maybe I think I need a container. And what I was thinking is I need a container. But maybe they're not. I need like maybe the thing that I think is a container here isn't the container. Rating bar. Okay, kind of cool. So you can put a lot of stuff in there, but I don't know how to make it not ugly. Let's see what else is the options. Page selector. Oh, because you can make more pages. I guess we need a sign up button. For authentication, for content, for lists. Okay. So let's choose a theme. I don't know. So I did this. Order history. But this is the kind of list that I wanted, except I wanted mine for cryptocurrencies. But how do I connect this to the backend? Connect Firestore. Data types. I guess this is for the database. I need to store some data. App values. This is way harder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, I know this is boring, so I don't want to click around for too long. Let me unshare my screen, tap sharing, and check my email. Email me, I think now, so that I can post your website into the chat. Ms. Biz, hello, how are you? Welcome to this call. If you're coming from Udemy, let me know what you're taking, what kind of course you're taking. If you have any questions, feel welcome. Okay, good. I like all the hearts. I'm going to put some hearts back. How come I don't see mine? I'm clicking on them. I don't see them on the screen. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, if you have any, tell us what you're working on. If you have any questions. Okay, cool. I'll wait for your email, Evangelos. And yeah, Ms. Biz, if you're working on anything on Udemy, feel welcome to share what you're working on. If you have any questions, let us know so that we can address it here and talk about it, because it's much easier to answer students' questions here than typing. Because when people ask me questions on Udemy, the best I have is like typing answers, and typing answers is not that good. It's like I can answer like a couple of words, a sentence, two sentences, three sentences, but here I can talk for like 5 minutes about anything you're working on. So I also have some news in my universe of business stuff that I'm working on, but I was gonna hold off on it until like later, so that don't bother people. But if people have joined before, for people who joined before, I sometimes mention this cryptocurrency that I launched, a token that I launched on the Solana blockchain, and today it hit an all-time high. So, oh, I see, I see. Thank you for subscribing. So just to give you a little background, this kind of a call, usually like I send a big email to a bunch of people who are my students on Udemy. I'll send you a link in case you're not familiar with my Udemy. I actually have almost 1 million students. If you click on this link, I'll share my screen. It's kind of an exciting week. Share screen here, share screen, because this is my Udemy profile, and I have 997,000 students. Let's refresh this. This was, I think, earlier, 173 students. Now it's 352 students. I get about maybe 500 students a day. So I think by next week, or maybe very late this week, but probably more next week, because the Saturday, Sunday is not that good. Saturday, Sunday like slows down a lot. So maybe next Monday is the day that I'm going to hit 1 million students. And actually, when you hit 1 million students on Udemy, I'll stop sharing. By the way, like I mentioned earlier, if anybody wants to do a super chat and choose any course from my courses, that's actually a good way to buy my courses for a cheaper, any price super chat. You can get any of my courses for free. Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's been since 2013 or 14, so it's not very much overnight. It's like more like a huge amount of work. Let me check my email. I didn't get anything yet. Got it. Okay, a lot of stuff here. Let me post everything. Let me get, okay, I'm gonna post a few links and then we're gonna go to them together and share screen. So this is the website, and then this is the blog. Oh, and there's a YouTube channel. Okay, let's look at the YouTube channel together. Everything. So this is all evangelos, and this is the YouTube channel. Oh, and you have an app too. Very cool. I'm just kind of going through your email. So this is, so let's I'm gonna click on your YouTube channel. Cool. I wonder how to do this so that we can all watch it. It's kind of cool. No limit emails. Your private. This is actually useful. Let me share my screen with everybody so people can see if they can be, if it can be useful. I see. Gotcha. Okay. So let me share my screen. Share screen. Share screen. I've pressed three buttons for share screen. Sorry, it's a little like share screen, little dopey. So this is the channel, and no limit emails. Let's go to the, also to the website. Elevate your communication, transform your business today. Cool. Yeah, this is the kind of a tool that I was building, but I only built it like partially. I'm only partially happy with it. Service as a marketing service provider, no limit emails offers you wide range of features you can grow your business. Unlimited SNCP, cool. Free hosting, marketing platform, very cool. One small, very anal feedback is consistency in capitalization. For some reason, hosting is a capital H, but feedback is a small f, and there's a small s here, but capital C. Little things like that people notice, and it's just like it makes your conversion rate a tiny, tiny bit lower. So just something like that, just a tiny, tiny thing. But let me ask you, because this is actually super cool. What I was trying to do, let me ask you a question. What I was actually trying to do with my email thing that I wasn't able to do is I was trying to email, like, I was able to easily find local businesses and find their like contact information for emailing them. Um, so I can email local businesses, but I wasn't able to find reliable emails of like online business people. Like, let's say if I want to message YouTubers, I can't scrape their information, and the services that I would use, they were relatively pricey, you know, per email. And the emails tend to be like outdated and stuff. Is your service like I have to have my own emails, or you can find people's emails? How would that work? Because that's the one thing I needed, is like I wanted to find people's emails. So while you're answering that, let's keep looking at your content. Share screen again. Share, and then let's go to the blog. And yeah, the last link is the YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to give a follow and learn about how to actually use this kind of email stuff, it's actually pretty good. Cool. This is a good image, right? On the beach with a laptop. This is the dream. I have this kind of a business, but I never get to go to the beach with a laptop. One is I'm so afraid that the sand will get into the laptop. But two, I just actually even don't get it in close to the beach with my laptop. All I'm doing is like working. I don't know how people go to the beach with their laptop and travel. I just like more work. Actually, speaking of travel, if anybody is joining late, I'm going to Toronto to give a presentation this Thursday, but I'll be done around like noon. So if anybody is there in that area and wants to hang out, I'll have a free day. So let's see. That's just a side note thing. Okay. Here are the inspiring stories people have never heard before. Personal goals to enable to uplift people, to connect people. Cool. Oh, so this is different than the emails. Email marketing solutions provider through the no limit emails, handmade white label hosting, content product. I published, yeah, cool. A lot of emails, 1,000 videos on the YouTube channel. Let's Because can you explain in the chat how to best use this? Because stop sharing for a second because the screen gets a little crazy. But could you explain in your own words how to use this? Because oh yeah, here we go. We can find emails. I have data side too. This is just my personal. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Um, You got a nice comment from Ms. Biz. Ms. Biz, by the way, like sometimes YouTube shows me people's names, but sometimes screen names. So if you want me to call by your actual name and you don't want me to call Ms. Biz, the only option I get from YouTube is Ms. Biz. So if you want to use your real name, just let me know what your real name is in case. But if I could keep using Ms. Biz also. Um, but yeah, Evangelist, maybe tell us like the emails. So I was able to use like APIs from like AI services, but the emails that I was getting were bouncing and they just weren't quality emails. And so I was able to get quality emails for local businesses because I was able to use the Google Local API. I literally got connected to the Google Local API, and if I wanted to like contact local business owners like gym owners, restaurant owners, I was able to do it no problem. That part was super easy. But the part that I just couldn't get was emails of like online influencer people. Um, I see a new comment from, I see only a screen name. It says FIJ-I. So I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll do my best. Fiji, 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 but there's a hyphen, Fiji, E. I don't know. But if you wanted to use your real name, let me know. Let me read your question. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen in 2 years with all businesses and services are automated? No one is job. Yeah, this is such a big question. We talk about it almost every live session. Um, well, some businesses is not going to be automated. Like if you're a music teacher, it's hard to automate. So 1% of businesses or 5% of businesses will still be safe. For the rest of us, we're in trouble. Also, online courses, honestly, a year ago, I thought, AI would be better, but it at the moment isn't. But probably will be in some time. Um, I think because you asked your question, like, for the foreseeable future, like the next 2 years, in the next year, you are kind of safe because the reality is that AI is the marketing of AI is really good, but the work of AI is way not as good. Like once you really like hit the ground running and start working with AI, you will realize AI is a kind of a junior level in a field. When you really have to work with it, it's hard to get it like super senior level. You're always gonna get like, oh, this thing is genius, and the next second you're gonna get like, this thing is a moron. Or sometimes it just makes errors. It's just like in many fields, it's just like not ready. So for the next year, you're fine. For the next year, what you could do is like learn how do you make video with AI, good video. How do you make software with AI? You would learn this so that people who are automating others would hire you to automate the 10 other people, right? Um, right. So it's getting, but I was going to get to that point that it's getting, I was just getting there that it's getting better exponentially. Um, so yeah, it's definitely getting better exponentially. So for the next foreseeable future, like the strategy, the general agreed upon good practice strategy is kind of like, um, and I see your comment, Evangelist, but I'll just kind of order, comment in order. So like the general thing is like, yeah, okay, you got to roll with the punches a little bit, so like any technology, any in history, if you didn't learn it, you kind of get left behind. So you have not so much choice other than to learn it. This is the phase we're in now. It doesn't mean this is the only thing you have to do, but like you have to learn it. Learn how to make video, learn how to make software. It's pretty easy to make text with AI, but like the next things are videos, software. Let me quickly read the comment. I'm starting a human in a loop business, keeping humans behind the AI. we will evolve and adjust. Yeah, so it's a lot of this kind of stuff. So today is basically we're making AI businesses, or like we're doing better work that we've been doing with AI and this kind of thing. Now, a lot of people are talking about businesses you can create that scale super fast. Like, for example, if you wanted to make a mobile app, um, uh, a mobile app, like, in the past you'd have to hire developers and blah 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 and wait 3 months. Today, at least in theory, you can make it overnight. Okay, it took us a while to even get nowhere with Flutterflow, but in theory, like if I was calm and I watched a tutorial, another tutorial, I would probably do a pretty good job on Flutterflow and make my app. Maybe it'd be a little ugly, but I would make it and launch it, and I would make it in 1 or 2 days. Really, like it promises 10 minutes, but I'd probably make one in 1 or 2 or 3 days, and then I refine it over the next couple of weeks. So it's way faster and cheaper because it's comparing, $20,000 for an agency or a developer compared to this now the current environment. So you could build a business faster. It can be an app, can be a software. You can build it faster. Again, the promise is like the marketing of this stuff is way better than what it is. So like you build it, it sucks. You build it, edit it, whatever. Like it's not never as good as it. But anyway, you struggle and you make it and launch it. Still, no matter how much you struggle with AI, it's better than paying $20,000 to a developer, um, unless you are the developer, in which we're asking this question of like, how do I get jobs when I'm getting automated? Um, but if you're the consumer, if you're an entrepreneur, it's like a good thing. You can make more stuff. This is actually what I ran into. I was like, oh, I can make way more stuff just being me. Instead of me making a video, me making software by typing code. I'm like, hey, AI, do this, do this. So suddenly one person is like way, way, way more productive. This is the current thing. And so you can scale business ideas, bring them to life, scale them up. Once you get good at it in like a day or 2 or 3 or a week, which is just unheard of. And if you actually succeed, okay, there you go, because if you also scale your marketing, part of the reason I wanted to build an email automation thing is to scale my marketing, so I can email 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people and go with everything, with the business that I'm making. So that's what I was planning originally. That was kind of the strategy. Let me quickly read the comments. Flutterflow is good. It's solid for app building. Just a bit. Yeah, it's the learning curve is a little too confusing. It's kind of not. Yeah, it's very clutter. It should be called Flutterflow, not Flutterflow. Clutterflow. Um, uh, anyway, not so clever. Clutterflow. Uh, I mean, my thing that I made, Flutterflow, Clutterflow, not so clever. I tried, but what was I saying? Yeah, so you can scale up a business. So this is the solution in the near term, like 1 year from now, 2 years. Okay, for the next 1 or 2 years, you have a chance to make like a scaled up business quickly. Build it, launch it, promote it. Super, a big part of it is like with AI. After 2 years, it gets tricky because it's so hard to answer the question of, well, what should we do? Because, well, actually, this question has always been hard to answer because because of I'm teaching in like Udemy for so many years and I'm coaching. People always ask me, "Hey, what's a good online business idea?" Right? And I'm like, I don't know, because it's like one good business idea for me is not a good idea for you. Like, I go build the next Google. Great, great suggestions, right? Nobody can do that. So it's a little hard to, just give random business ideas. These things don't work that way so much. So it's always been a little hard to answer that question, but now it's impossible. Like, realistically, and by the way, before we do this, if anybody, just a little recap, if anybody is happy with this call and wants to drop a super chat, I just got this channel enabled for super chat. Evangelos gave me my first one and I liked it. So if anybody wants to drop a super chat, I'll be excited about it because it's kind of cool. Like, it appears in my chat and I see it. And so, even if it's like a little bit, like, Actually, it's kind of cool and exciting at the moment because I only got one ever so far. So if anybody wants to, and if anybody's having fun on this call, drop a super chat. Is no pressure. I answer any question anyway, but just for fun, as a thank you. In any case, um, my own fear with AI is that I had this course business that I built up before 2023. I know like OpenAI launched ChatGPT publicly in like 2021, but really it didn't start to be like a fear of like it's going to take over all our jobs until 2023-ish. At least that's when I started like really sensing it. And then I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? And so I started having this fear. And by the way, just to be totally transparent, I don't know how related it is, but course revenue is down. Like a lot of enrollments, they used to be like during COVID, 2019, 20, the courses were going through the roof. And that slowed down. And I don't know if it's, how much of that is the people just ask AI. Certainly some part of it, like some things you can just ask AI. So you don't pay, like ask ChatGPT. But so it's in the e-learning space. Like I'm certainly getting like a little bit automated, right? So that back to that question of like how do you make sure the AI doesn't automate you? So that's a question that I have to answer for myself also. I haven't fully answered it, but I think some of the answers that I have is thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, like the question, I appreciate the comment on the I will on the next live. Oh, I think I'm back. I found the button. There was a reconnect button. Ta-da! I am like reincarnated. Perfect. Okay, let me. Okay, what was I doing here? We're back. We're back. Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for being patient through these technical challenges in these difficult times. Where were we, by the way? We were saying the nicest things about AI, right? Don't ban me, please. Um, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the tricky thing. So like we know sort of the consensus of like what to do in the next year or two, but I don't know what to do in the next 2+ years. I honestly don't know. My answer has been like, oh no, like my whole business that I've been like building since 2012 or whatever, right? The online course business, the like whatever, I have this kind of a bunch of stuff under my personal brand. If people stop taking that, teach about AI, I've been teaching about AI since like the first couple of weeks that OpenAI came out with ChatGPT. I made it, I figured it out, and I was one of the first users, like, and not like one of the first, but like one of the, like first couple of days I was on it, and I made courses on it, and the courses on it are fine, and I have like a bunch now. How to make videos with AI, how to make websites with AI, how to code with AI. I have a bunch of the stuff, how to deal with AI errors and what if AI hallucinates. I even have a course of that, right? Um, so, by the way, if you want any of my courses, as you know, super chat would be great, and that's the cheapest way to get any of my courses that you want. I'll drop a link here in case people want to browse it, because over the 12 years or so, or 13 years, I like over 200 courses. So it's kind of a lot to browse through, a lot of different content. I keep it updated. But yeah, so I was thinking like, oh no, AI is going to kill this business. And then creating AI courses only solves this a little bit, really only solves this like by a tiny bit. And I think there's two things that can happen. If you're like, let's say you have a job, it's either you're just tomorrow unemployed, or in a better case scenario, you're like the newspaper industry. like from the 90s. Remember, like newspaper industry is like, it's like you think it's just like dead, right? But it's like kind of dying, but it's still around. So everybody's sort of hoping for like that smooth landing, so you can have a lot of time. I'm experiencing this smooth landing at the moment because it's like my revenue from courses is like significantly down from last year, but because I've kind of built up, this whole online course business, it's still at a good level. So I'm like, okay, and so what this caused me to do, the slide, is caused me to, um, in my community, in the instructor community, there's like insane panic right now. Offline, anybody ever talks that anything ever anyone talks about is like what's happening to the revenue, it's going down, what to do next, blah blah blah. So in this year, I didn't want to complain. I didn't want to be in that boat. I'm like, okay, you just reinvent yourself, right? This is sort of what we do. People, if you work from your 20s until you're 60, the whole universe will like change a few times. So you just reinvent yourself. It's not something you want. It's annoying and it's painful and it's scary, but like, it's part of it. So it just happens. I used to work. I used to work I used to live in San Francisco during the dot com boom. And during the dot com boom, no one thought there would be a dot com bust. And overnight, in like year 2000, it was like all the startups that were not making money just died. And I had a really cool job. I was like 18 and I got like a tech job. I was making at 18, just by virtue mostly of luck of where I lived, because it was like Silicon Valley. I was making at my highest at 18 in 1998, that 1899, that kind of era, $78,000 a year in my tech job, which I wasn't qualified for, but at that time there was such a shortage of tech workers that they took me for the salary. I wouldn't have hired myself, but it was a thing, right? And I thought, wow, if I'm making this money now, amazing. And the next year it was zero. So it was just zero. So sometimes you hit industries like that, and so AI can do that to a lot of businesses and careers. Um, like if you're a freelancer, for example, writing content, okay, you're in trouble, right? Um, so you got to reinvent yourself. So this year, I started four different things. I started this B2B business, the email sending business that I mentioned earlier. It's right now, I'm not happy with where that business is, to be honest. I had better hopes for it. This is the one that I'm also building with, AI. But okay, fine. I tried it. I also launched my own cryptocurrency. I also did something else, and I'm trying to revive my YouTube channel, bringing it back. By the way, there's a comment, but the comment got retracted. Hey, Charlene Logan, welcome to the call. Don't retract your comment. Keep it here. Comments are welcome. Maybe it was a naughty comment. I didn't get a chance to read it. But if it was a comment, just join the conversation. We're all thinking like what to do in the world of AI. So feel welcome to chime in. It's something that like is worth brainstorming. And it's kind of big part of the reason we're here is to like, brainstorm these kind of big challenges. But in any case, I got this. Oh yeah. Next comment. The app I sent you is a live app, no account needed, just browser based. You can get. Oh, got it. Got it. Okay. Zoom, but replace. I see. Did you send me an email? Um, Let me quickly check my email just in case I should check something there. No, didn't get anything yet. But yeah, so I started like four different things, reviving this YouTube channel, that B2B, like email automation, cryptocurrency, and something else that I'm just forgetting at the moment. So I think you just gotta like scramble, right? Like if you're having a soft landing and like something big is coming around the corner, like don't wait for it. You gotta do something. Oh, the fourth thing, I think is the fourth thing. I don't know how I'm counting. Is I try to make myself better at personal finance. because like I thought there is some chance that like the online course business will not have a smooth landing, but be like a cliff and see you later, right? I thought that in 2024, and I panicked internally, and I was like, okay, I have some savings, like many people. I'm like, all right, let's just make these savings go a long way. Um, and so I started making myself really much better at like personal finance, which is not a super fun field. Like it's not like I would choose my to spend my free time doing personal finance, but it's actually kind of fun to not lose money and make money. So um, so I think in anticipation for this crash that maybe we're going to have, because like if you saw the jobs report, there was a jobs United States job report, and they keep on revising the numbers down. The unemployment's getting worse, and partially it's because of like tariffs, but partially I think is because people aren't hiring because of uncertainty due to AI. Nobody knows what the future is like. It's hard to. Okay, I see your comments. I'm kind of reading with one eye, so sometimes when I go like this, it's because the chat letters are like really tiny. They're in the corner. I know maybe it looks a little like nerdy, like when I'm doing this. Like when I'm doing this, that's just me reading the comments. I don't have a second person doing the live stream. This is not a major studio, um, setup. But yeah, so I think definitely reinvent yourself. And one of the things is like think what business you can start, how you can add AI to make you better at your work, but also like just becoming better at personal finances, like because there might be some, I don't know, like it might be some lean years because nobody knows what to get into. Some people will for sure get lucky, and not lucky, but like they'll like find their way. But like it will be like a bell curve, like the 3% will be happy, 10% will be okay, and a lot of people will be like in figuring out slash struggle mode. It could be that. I don't know. I hope it's not that, but it could be that. I'm kind of worried about it. And so I guess just don't sit on your hands, like that was my solution. I'm like, okay, so I tried a few different ideas. I keep asking AI. That's like a lot. Some of these calls that we've had in like these live calls, a lot of them were like, "What's a cool app to build? What's a new business idea with AI?" So that people can get business ideas to do with AI. Um, so that you kind of get in front of it, because what you really don't want is to when this moment does happen, when you're like, oh, it's a cliff, you don't want it to be like, I wasn't prepared. That's certain. And historically, the way to prepare for technological change is to learn that technology, to master it more than the people next to you, so that you're kind of like, ride the wave, hopefully. I don't know if that's going to be the same with this technology, but historically that's been true. The thing is just so unknown. Like it's not even known if it's going to kill us all, right? Even that isn't really that known. Um, Fiji said 19 years old, dropped out of university as soon as the Grok 4 came out with PhD level intelligence. You know what? People today, they are kind of negative about universities. Um, and to a point, I see I see their view. But from my university, like in my university, I got this idea that you can study for a job to get a job, which today in a university, maybe it's overkill. Maybe you don't need, for most jobs, don't need a university degree. But the other thing the university gives you is ideas, because I also learned these classes like philosophy and English and like literature. And these ideas, they stuck with me all my life. And also in college, I had peers who would brainstorm these ideas with me, where in the online world, like what you see is like very narrow set of interests. People are like, I'm into working out, I'm into making money, I'm into travel, nothing else. There's like so many universes of everything else, starting with enriching your inner life, that real education gives you, um, and real education is not the same thing as vocation, right? Vocation is you get a job, you're a software engineer, you're a carpenter, that's a vocation, you need it. But you maybe need more, in my view. Maybe I'm maybe in the minority here, but I feel strongly about it. You need an education, something to enrich your inner life, because when you enrich your inner life, that's with you for your whole life. A job will change a million times, but your inner life, how you enrich that, that is going to shade, it's going to be the background of how you experience your entire whole life. And that's the value of education that I don't think you're going to get online. This is a traditional university experience, like trying classes, stuff like that. Facts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for how positive you've been, Ms. Biz. I appreciate that. I'm just reading the comments. Evangelist says AI can take you so far for university, also gives you a real human network. Yeah, I think the combination is like, yeah, AI, you definitely would use AI. Like nobody, I think today, if you don't use AI, you're like a carpenter without a hammer. You're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you going to do with your teeth? Right? So today AI for sure. Like almost everything that I do today with AI is better. No question. Learning AI makes you learn things so much faster and obsoletes so many things you never even have to learn anymore. But I think you gotta find a way to get real education, like the kind of education, like maybe I'm a real nerd, but like when I was in college, I really loved like exploring like Dostoevsky and ideas and existentialism and like what is this, finding interesting questions that you spend your whole life thinking about, never really answering, but that's not the point. Like you like just get introduced to these ideas. And what is an idea even, right? It comes from Greek philosophy, this concept. And so just this kind of stuff. Uh, I'm just reading the comments. Whenever I see a comment, it's like I'm like comment, and it kind of distracting to what I'm saying. So I should comment. Timothy Schultz won the multi-million lottery at 21 and went to university anyway. Well, at that point, you don't have to get a job, right? You go to university. Yeah, he's older now, but still, I think you would. Some people like this. Some people like this exercise of like, what would you do if money wasn't an issue? Like, what would you do? I think a lot of people would say travel, and then I think it's a kind of a cop out because you travel for a little bit, you travel, you get bored, you come back home. What do? You still like the indulgent life. I'll eat all the ice cream in the world that I can try, or I'll travel. There's this indulgent life. It doesn't fulfill, or I'll buy a Ferrari. It doesn't fulfill as much as it seems like it should, or as the advertising suggests it should. So you still end up like, even if you get a yacht, a Ferrari, like you're like, okay, well, now what? So you're still kind of like stuck answering that question, like, okay, now what? You know, and so does anybody ever do this exercise? Like, what would you do? I have my answer. I have an answer, but my answer is all my answers are like so nerdy. Does anybody have an answer? While I'm waiting, I would make music. I would make really nice music, like Bob Dylan style, like Leonard Cohen style, like poetic music. I would make that. Actually, I do that now, but not very well. Um, but I do that, I think, because it's the most inspiring that I can think of. Like the most interesting thing that for me. Dante says, Fiji says, take mushrooms. That's an interesting idea. I would take some too, maybe. But honestly, yeah, maybe I would take some. When I was younger, I took some, and it was an incredible experience. We should discuss this on this call because it's such a profound experience that I had under mushrooms. Um, But before that, there was another comment. Dante said, I feel like I'm in a rush with AI, trying to get to the goal before it's gone. I 100% agree. I feel some anxiety. Like, I agree with, I also feel anxiety with it. And like when I feel like I maybe went in a certain wrong direction with AI, I feel like, oh, yeah, like everybody else is getting ahead. And I don't know that it's right. In every field, there's like, when I started Udemy in 2012 or 13, it felt, I was like, oh my God, like it's so competitive, it's so crowded, I'm late. And then when I started, same thing with YouTube in 2012, I'm late, it's so crowded. And then when I published the book on Amazon, I'm so late, it's crowded, right? So yeah, honestly, it's true that earlier is better because now all of these things are so competitive. But um, eh, uh, there's always the next thing. There's like the next thing of the next thing of the next thing. So as long as you're like you're surfing that edge, you should be kind of okay. Um, and I think the other thing is something I'm realizing recently, because in my career, I've started like so many businesses. Most of them like didn't work out. Luckily, a couple of them worked out like really well. One mainly, like I'm as an instructor on Udemy, I'm like really in a good place, and I'm successful at being an author that makes money, and a few other things like coaching, but so many things like flopped. And if I just took it like, well, maybe I'm not good, or I should stop it, I think that would be kind of like I would cause myself to stop. But as long as you keep on skirting that cutting edge and keep trying, some things will fail. That's totally fine. Like nobody's going to have a 100% success rate unless you're like, one of the great entrepreneurs. But if you're regular human, I think you would embrace failure even though you never want it, but it's like a stepping stone. This failure, next failure is not a failure, it's a stepping stone. It feels like a failure, but it's not. Let me quickly read it, the comments, because there's so many comments. Like there's a famous comment about taking mushrooms, and people seem to like that. um, let me see. So the mushrooms, and then we got emojis of mushrooms, which I like. I really like a well chosen emoji. I went to university, did computer science. I do love AI, but university has a human, it does have a human network, because I really enjoyed, there are some ideas that I got from my classmates that I didn't get from my students, that didn't get from my classes or instructors still. And some of them I really cherish, they're life changing in the stuff I was studying, but also like peripheral stuff, like just ideas and mixing with people and like being open. Because university, I think in this age, from like 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, something happens to the brain where you're so curious and you're such a sponge and you're mature enough to tackle complex ideas, and you get them like a vacuum. You get them like a flood in a university, and different ones, not just making money, but like a lot of other stuff. It's really a good time to get really educated. In any case, I'm big on that. And actually, I wouldn't have become an instructor on Udemy if I didn't acquire a real appreciation for real learning, like for real education. If to me education was like go make $1, I don't think I would think it's so special, and I don't think I would become an instructor. I really think like education is like a higher thing than just figure out how to make $1. I think it has to play a more fulfilling role in a person's life. Otherwise, it's a big miss. Um, okay, next comments. Charlene. Uh, Before that, Fiji was laughing, but I don't know who you're laughing. Are you laughing at the mushroom comment or something else? I don't know. But we have to come back to the mushrooms. Mushrooms, I like. I'm not like a big drug person, but mushrooms, I'm like fascinated. Um, Charlene said earlier comment. I was going to make lots of AI courses out there now for free to basic AI with upsell for different AI classes for making your content generation and lead generation. Are you asking like which one to choose or how to know which one to get into? Make a Charlene, make a follow-up comment because I'm not sure exactly where you're headed with that. Were you trying to figure out like uh, how to which AI thing to learn or which course to take? Tell me more details. I want to know. And then Evangelo said AI is morphing to personal LLMS. LMS, yeah, just in the early stage of current AI. Yes, it is. In a way, not LMS, LLMs, LLMs. I'm a little blanking. Sometimes when these office hours when they run a little long, I like notice myself like confusing words. So hopefully it doesn't happen. One time I was on the East Coast and I started like at like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. and I was like already like 11 and I was falling asleep and I was literally like and earlier that day I saw a war movie, something about World War II, and I started like kind of, like when you just started falling asleep, your eyes closed. And I started noticing my mouth is still talking. And I'm like saying, I started having like that, like in those intense images from that World War II movie. And I started talking about the Nazis. And I'm on this live call. And I'm like, God, I wake myself up. It's so embarrassing. Um, it's a real thing. And then I'm like, wow, that's pretty embarrassing that I did that. Um, hey, Fiji said, hey, thanks for the nice comment. And late for you. See you on the next one. Yeah, thanks for the nice comment. And if I see you on the next one, you'll be curious to see where you're going with your education because um yeah, I learn a lot of stuff with AI, but yeah, we're gonna talk about shrooms now without Fiji. Has anybody tried it? I tried it only a couple of times in my life, and they're both like life-changing moments. One time in high school, one time in college. I don't know if I should tell any stories. They're kind of long time ago now, so my stories about them aren't so good. But um, one time, one time, I tried mushrooms with yeah, in the teens. It's a cool experience, right? Um, One time I tried it. It was like my roommate had it, and we just started eating it in the afternoon. It was like in the living room. We ate it. Oh, nothing's happening. We ate some more. Nothing's happening. And then it just started getting into this like weird world. But like you can kind of like see yourself from the outside, and you start to judge yourself. Like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what's happening? And see, Ms. Biz says once in high school, but now there's plentiful here in Colorado. They're illegal. Oh, but now I would be afraid of doing drugs because I guess like when I was in high school or college, drugs were just drugs, right? Now there's like fentanyl. I don't even know what to do. Like now, I feel like you shouldn't do them, right? Like you just get yourself in a lot of trouble. But back then, it was a little safer. So mushrooms, and I started seeing when I did the mushrooms, I started seeing myself from like a different perspective and like judging what is my life? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And then after the mushroom experience, I changed the next day. I changed a lot of my life. I was like, wow, this is incredible insights and realizations. Wow. And I really maybe should have done it more, but it kind of just didn't recur because it's like it takes a whole day. It's kind of like a long thing. Still do 420 for back pain. That's what they all say for back pain. Um, I think 420 is okay. I was having like back in college like a little bit like negative trips, not super negative, but like a little bit negative. By the way, there's like a funny thing happening. I don't know if you see it, but there's a thumbs up here, and the thumbs up is going up and down, up and down. I'm between 6 and 7. I'm not counting, but it's showing me right on the screen, so I can't help but see it. And there's somebody is playing around with the thumbs up, but thumbs up, thumbs down button. And somebody's like thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. And it used to be 7 a few seconds ago. Now it's 6. Now it's 7. I don't know what is going on. Um, but if you're playing with the thumbs up, thumbs down, just give the super chat. Anyway, so I think that was the drug conversation drove some people away. After which I should say, don't do drugs unless it's mushrooms. Then actually it's a good experience. Just kidding. This is not about this. This call is not about that. What this call is now at this point. I think, yeah, like what to do with AI in the year. We kind of know in the near term what to do with AI. In the future, personal finance is my only real answer. Learning personal finance so that you can like safety proof your life, right? Instead of like, let's say you have some savings, I don't know, some whatever savings you have. Let's say you have in the bank like $50,000, which is not enough, but let's say you have like more than that. If you're kind of like not worried about it, about personal finance, maybe you put some money in the CD, maybe if you're lucky, you would buy S&P 500, the stock market index, which is a great investment historically. But a lot of people don't know what to do with their money, and it just kind of sits there untouched and just loses value through inflation anyway. And so that's it, right? But then as soon as you start figuring out, okay, what should I do with my finances? How do I make my money work for my money? Work for me, at least you kind of give yourself a chance, So today there's like, if there's some businesses or some opportunities scale up quickly, if you invest in those, your money will scale up quickly with them. And so the challenge becomes, how do you find those opportunities? So I created my own cryptocurrency token. It's kind of like part of my own answer, because like when you create your own, you own a bunch of them, right? So if it goes to $1, you never have to work ever in your life, and it's not even particularly difficult, all things considered, to make it go to $1. Like it's difficult, obviously, but not as difficult as many other things. And many other things are difficult, just don't have the same rewards. So I think if you cannot make your own AI stuff, or get a job with AI, or AI will automate your job, I think you still want to be like really on top of things so that you can find those opportunities. It's a little bit in the cryptocurrency world. There's like a lot of like new, like today I don't want to even talk about meme coins so much, but it's a thing. Like meme coins are like, they can go up and down within one day by like 1,000%. So people trade it. Now, when I say people trade it, it's very different from saying people succeed with it, but people trade it. It's still like a very scalable way to make money. Let me quickly read the comments. Evangelo said, I'm working on an app to make token creation easy so anyone can make tokens with no coding. Exactly. So that's kind of cool. Something like Radium or Smithy tools, like one of those things that does that. Yeah, it's a really helpful tool to create an app. I don't know if you're familiar. Let me share my screen. So if you're into the token world, let me show you my token. So this is the chart. Today we had or is it yesterday? We had like an all-time high, and we're back to the all-time high. It's the Spark token. I have a website for it, SPRK token. If nobody's ever seen it's a cryptocurrency for artists and creators. So like to fund your creative projects. So instead of like losing money to inflation or Kickstarter fees or Patreon fees, which are significant, which, inflation 5%, the government says 3%, it's really 5%. Um, Patreon and Kickstarter take 5%. So you're right away losing like 10% of your funds. With cryptocurrency, you can get more money, airdrops and other things. And I'm planning on releasing some smart contracts, which are kind of like baked in rules that make it even better to fundraise with this token. So it's basically for creators. It's like a fundraising and fee collection for creative people. So anybody on this call is like creative people because it's also includes like entrepreneurs. So this thing, this is a website where people can actually use it for trading and then raising money and all this. But this is where the token is trading, and this token also has trades in Solana and Spark. Spark is the cryptocurrency, and also USDC. I launched the USDC a little earlier, so if I go to like 3 months, you'll see the chart is pretty good. See, it like kind of jumped, and from the beginning it launched at just under a tenth of a penny, and now it's way over. It's like 60% over. So it didn't have like a super, super, super jump, but it's kind of creeping up, creeping up, creeping up. And 2 days ago, I hit a big milestone where, by the way, I have a community for this on Reddit. I think it's my Reddit community here. Where's my Reddit community? Here. So I'm on this live coin watch. It's one of those big websites that gives you credibility in the cryptocurrency space. So you can like look up this token that is legitimate, all this stuff. So if anybody wants to join my Reddit, I just made my Reddit community for this Spark token Reddit. I'll post it here. I post like news and updates, and sometimes I post like here's my what do you call it? Blah, 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 blah. Discord. So I'm going to post my Discord community as well. If anybody wants to join, this is where I post like at some point in September or October, I plan to do a lot of advertising, and the price of this token will spike up like crazy. Let me show you exactly how that will work. So if you want to invest in it early before that, I will post it here. There's like a small community of people who are already investors. So this is the Discord you can join. And by the way, since we're here, let me go to my YouTube channel and just get to the YouTube Studio and search for the Spark token. I have an onboarding video if you want to learn more about how it works, or if you want to see how to invest in it and if it makes sense, blah blah blah, all these kinds of things. This is a longer video. It's a little long, but it's informative. So here is the video I'll post. It explains how to buy it, whether it's how to decide if it's good for you, all that kind of stuff. Talks about the risk, the potential reward. So in this website, let me show you. So in a lot of the cryptocurrency websites, what you can do is advertise. You see like these people on top, they advertise. It's an advertising spot. It's also advertising here on top right. When they advertise, like for example, if I click on this one, this is going to be a meme coin. If I click on this one, for example, you will see that it's spiking. And if we zoom out, some of them are just new, like 5 days, and maybe they're just not even 5 days or 1 month. So 3 months. So this one is like, okay, started in, actually it's crazy. It started 15 hours ago or 16 hours ago. You see, it's a 1-day thing. You see, it started at 3 p.m. today. So this is just a new launch, and they're advertising. Nobody knows about them, nothing, right? They're spiking because they're advertising. And so it spiked, not so well. A lot of other cryptos spike better, and they might spike more because they just maybe started advertising. But a lot of these, like if I, look at others, are also going up, right? Then maybe some people who bought are selling, but it's a pretty good chart. It's all like up into the right kind of charts. So here it launched at a very tiny price, 1/100 of a penny almost, but now it's like 30 times that or something, right? So this is like a crazy rise. If you look at the prices, am I correct at reading 30 or three times more? I think it's three times more. Still, three times is 300%. So it's not the best example, but it's pretty good examples of just like spiking because of ads. And I plan to try and at least experiment with ads like this. So if people buy this thing early, they will ride the spike. So it's not a bad idea to get it now. It's risky, obviously, buy it at your own risk, all that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting one to get into. And so I plan to advertise there. I'm also building up like credibility in a bunch of big subreddits. So because my own subreddit is very small, but I have some news to announce that inclusion into that website that I mentioned earlier. So it might be an interesting option because mine is is up like 70% approximately, and it's very easy to move that because buying pressure moves. Cool. Hey, thanks for joining the Reddit and Discord. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate, Evangelos, that you've been like really supportive. Everything I mentioned, you're on top of it. I really appreciate it. But yeah, the little cryptos, they're easy to move because like the market caps are so small. Like the total market cap for mine is something like 100K, just a little more. Compared that to Bitcoin, it's in the billions and billions. One purchase doesn't move it, but a little bit of buying moves the little cryptos. This is why people go and they create a meme coin, like a useless coin, but then run a bunch of ads to it, spike it, and then sell. Like I'm not planning to sell actually, like, and for many, many years, because I plan to grow this into a big thing. Like my goal is I really want to make it like a crowdfunding for artists, like a known thing. I have like a long-term vision for it. So I'm not planning to sell. But other people who like just launch meme coins, a lot of times what happens is I've been watching this one. Let me show you. Let me actually show you. It's kind of cool. I don't remember if it's Wolf coin or something, but let's look at it together. So I hope you can see my screen. So is it Wolf? I know how to find it on Reddit. Let's go to Reddit. And there's a coin market cap, crypto moonshots. And these guys promote themselves there a lot. So I'll probably easily find it there. This is the one, Hunt. I don't know if, yeah, see? And so Hunt, let's see if it's easy to find them. Whatever. But at least we know the ticker symbol Hunt. So if we go to Hunt, I thought it's Wolf Hunt. I'm a little weird. Hunt. And this is the one, right? With the very like easy to recognize picture. So what you'll see is I learned about these guys when they were right here, this little spike. And I was like, I should invest. And then they spike like crazy. So they were like half a penny or so, or maybe a 40 cents, like 40% of a penny. And then they went up to almost 2 pennies at a penny 0.7. That's a lot of money that you can make, right? That's like 5 times or more. So 5x. And I was kicking myself. And then the sell-off started. And I don't know if the sell-off is the holders of this token selling off or investors selling off. If it's the holders, it's basically like the holders were like, okay, we're going to advertise, spike the price, and then sell our stuff. I don't know. So it doesn't look like a good chart now, but it looked good up to here. That's the risk with like meme coins and little cryptos. It's easy to move. So it went up in price like crazy over a couple of days, like 5x or 6x. If you imagine if you knew that this was going to happen and you put like a lot of money, $10,000 or something, right? because you knew this was going to spike. Like if you were the owner, you knew you were going to start advertising, and then around here you start selling whenever you decided. Like whenever you started seeing, okay, it's not going up as fast as anymore, start selling. So that's a pretty cool kind of a business model, is to just create your own cryptos, pump them up, and sell. It's not a good thing in terms of ethics, because you kind of, the people who bought here are screwed. A lot of people lose money. So it's not an ethical business, I would say. Like it's not something that like I would recommend. Yeah, Dante says pump and dump. Yeah, totally pump and dump. They did a pump and dump. But you know, that's the risk. It's like, I think if you know the people who are organizing it, they will tell you, like, hey, something good might start happening here, or I'm gonna promote it here or sell there. That's why I'm gonna post that in the Reddit and more in the Discord, because I feel like, okay, like these are the people who, like, a lot of people. There's not a lot of people there, but the people who are there, they're pretty much people who invested. So they invested early, so I want to make sure that they make money, and so because of that, I'm going to probably tell them like, hey, I'm going to start promoting it. They don't care because they already have it, but I might tell them, hey, buy more whenever I start running the ads. The ads are a little bit expensive, so I'm a little bit like apprehensive about it. But it's kind of something that I keep thinking, like, when am I going to start? Because I keep like skirting around it. I was going to start running ads early September, but then another project I had kind of ran over time, and I have some travel. So it's not until like maybe later in September. I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of exploring the option of running ads on this site, the Dex Screener, which is a popular site, and some other ones, so that it gets like a really big lift at once. Because once a token has a big lift, it starts appearing on like the top movers charts. And when it starts appearing on the top movers charts, everybody, like, who are like just people who are speculating, they're looking at those charts, they're monitoring those charts, and then they jump in, and then it really spikes the price of the token. So if anybody who's in early, like, makes a significant amount, especially when they know, like I'll post in the investors who are in the Reddit or the Discord, I'll post there. I'm like, hey, the ads are ending at this date, so make sure that you get out at this date, or at least. I think we're back. I think we are back live. 2 times from the dead today. I found that button to reconnect. Is anybody still here? Any people want to sleep? Yeah, I'm back. Evangelos, where are you in the world, by the way? Seriously, 9 lives. I'm like, if I didn't find that button, I was panicking. That button is right there, but when you're in like panic mode, like, how do I reconnect? How do I reconnect? It's like, can't find anything. Like stress. Where is everybody from, by the way, on this call? Portugal. I was in Portugal this past October. So almost a year ago. And Udemy had a conference there, and I stayed in this little town that I forgot the name, obviously. I remember it, but it's just like when you need it, like, you forget. It was really pretty. You had, like, obviously a view of the ocean and all this. And I got a discount on this hotel because it was a conference. I got a discount on this 5-star hotel. I've never been in a hotel like this. Like, usually if you pay, you get a okay hotel, whatever. But this way, it was like 200 euros, but for like a five-star hotel, North Carolina. Hey, I visited there a couple of years ago. Very nice and beautiful place. I am right now in Pasadena, California. I used to be in Hoboken, New Jersey, but I moved. Yeah, so I stayed in this like crazy five-star, incredibly beautiful, like a palace hotel. And it's so amazing. When I came to my room, it was like, you know how you usually come to a hotel, there's a room, there's like a bed, a desk, a chair, maybe another chair. That's kind of it usually, a basic hotel room for like one or two people. This thing had like nine, I counted nine places to put my butt, like I had a chair, a sofa, a lounging chair, a special extra nook in the room. It was like, I was like, I'm never leaving this place. I'm never leaving. And then I left. I left. But then I was like, I'm going to stay. I'm going to put my claws into this desk and I'm never leaving this place. But I had to come back because, like, I had to come back. They were going to kick me out. But it was cool. It was nice in Portugal. And then I went to a winery and I went to a cool event. Udemy, they hired, I don't know if it's a common thing in Portugal, but Udemy hired like actors and they put us into one day they sent us to a castle, and in this castle they recreated like the king of Portugal and all his royal, like the queen was there and all the staff, and it was kind of a cool experience. um, and there was like a flamenco guitar kind of playing, which maybe is more Spain, I don't know. But anyway, it was a cool experience. I want to go back. From India, Pranav, hello. It's morning time for you right now. It's early morning for you. From London to Portugal 20 years ago. Yeah, there's a lot of people who move to Portugal because it's like easier life and it's cheaper a lot, right? Like life is a little more chill and better. Good morning, Pranav. We're sort of like the third hour here, but we're going strong. Pranav, what are you doing in the next 2 years if AI automates everybody's job? Do you have an answer? We've been talking about that. I should like do some significant research about it and come back to just do. I'm new here. Welcome, Pranav, if you're new. Are you coming from Udemy or YouTube? How did you discover this? But yeah, so I think probably it's a good idea for our next live stream is to do this kind of I'm working as a US recruiter here and use AI all the time. How do you use it? And also like now we use AI, but like the conversation we had is that in 2 or 3 years the intermediary person, the human, may not be needed as much, may get automated as well. So that's the conversation we've been having. Charlene, yeah, it's a little after midnight if you're in Eastern time. Thanks for joining. I don't know if I answered your question well, but thanks for joining, and hopefully see you on the next one. On the next one, I promise to be more organized with the app world. The app presentation today, I don't know if you were here for that, but it wasn't good. It was my fault. I use it to learn job description. Yeah, edit my candidate's resume, make it more. Yeah. All those things definitely useful. I think we were talking about like what happens when AI automates us entirely. That's the kind of thing we were talking about. So, yeah. It's hard to have an answer for that. I don't honestly know what the answer for that is, because even the experts, they're like, we know the answer in 2 years. 5 years is too much, because they don't even know if it's going to kill everybody. Let's try I'm probably going to do another office hours like next week. I hope by then I will have figured out this software sufficiently enough that I can make an actual good presentation. and we can make an actual app together. So maybe if you can join next time, I promise to be better. And if I'm not better next time, in two times. Usually these softwares, like, oh, what we could do. I'm so dumb. I forgot, because what I was planning to do in the very beginning, this is maybe age, I don't know, or just lack of intelligence from get go. What you can do is let's do a cool experiment. Because you can send ChatGPT screenshots of where you're confused. Let me do this really quickly, because this was gonna be the secret weapon that was gonna get us unstuck. So if I share my screen, and if I go to Flutterflow, let's close the Reddit and all the things we were doing. Flutterflow, right? So I'm super confused, like, um, what to do here. How do I edit this button? So I can kind of take a screenshot of this. I can kind of put it into my ChatGPT. So this is the, oops. So this is the screenshot I took, and then I was like, hey, so then it will just give you instructions. Thinking. I'll drink some water. See, it understands UI enough that, like, it knows what's on the screen. I think it's actually making stuff for me. I don't know how. What is it doing? I think it didn't understand my question so well. It definitely understood what's on the screen, which is the important part. And I can just rephrase my question, but decide how the list should get its data. That's what I was thinking too. Also, I need a Firestore and Supabase to get its data. Okay. What I was really going to do is find an API for how to find the fastest moving cryptos, and that's how I would populate this list. And then create a usable row card component. I don't know what that is. Widget tree. So you see, it like walks you through. Click here, click here, click here. So you can be as dumb as me and still get it right. Let me unshare my screen, because so that's really Flutterflow and ChatGPT. So with ChatGPT, you can get unstuck, which is what I really like about it, because I would be stuck, and I was stuck earlier today. So, does anybody else want to chat about anything? I got the cryptocurrency one topic. I got the app topic. Then we talked about AI. I think I'm going to spend some time figuring out. I have a flight. I'm going to Toronto tomorrow. If people change all the time, so sometimes if I repeat, I'm like, maybe it's some new people are listening. If anybody lives in Canada, Toronto, I'm going to Toronto tomorrow. I'm staying for like 1 or 2 days only. I have to do some talk in some company. So, but if anybody wants to hang out, I'll be in Toronto. But on the plane, my real point is that on the plane, I'll have a bunch of time. And if the internet is working, my plan is to make myself good at Flutterflow. And my main challenge is that I might get super bored, because it is a little tedious and bored. I pack myself some sandwiches. Sometimes it's like easier if you have a snack and you're eating, and then it's not so boring to do boring things. But I'm planning on the plane right there and the plane right back. I'm planning to figure out Flutterflow and come back. And actually, what I really want to do is I really want to make a course, because I have two courses that are outdated. I have a course on app marketing and a course on like app ideas and how to do those. And I really need to update them, but I need a live app to update them, because the examples have to be live. I originally made them with my original apps, but then I stopped updating those apps because they were just from a long time ago. So what I was going to do is figure out Flutterflow well enough, create a basic app, launch it, and then on one of these calls show how I did it, and also make a course about it. Once it's like in a good place, and once I feel like it's a good enough course that people can follow. Um, so that was my plan for September. Actually, that's my. I don't know if I should do it. I'm kind of on the fence about it a little bit because I'm like, well, it's going to take a long time, and I have other things to do. But I might do it because it's kind of fun. People always want to know how to make apps, and people always want to make apps and all that stuff. So, plus, I should just update. I need to do it just so I can update my existing courses. Um, so that's something I'm planning. So that's the plan, I guess. Um, yeah. So let's see. Should we say goodnight or should we stay a little bit more and talk about something else fun? Um, you know what I want to do? I want to ask ChatGPT what kind of jobs are going to be available after email ads. Tell me more about how this will work. We can push email ads out for you. Uh, do you mean like you have an do you have like a categorized audience of like how can I send emails to, like, let's say people who are interested in apps or online entrepreneurs, or is there a way to segment that way, or how do I do this? Let me see. It probably says on your website. I'm going to scroll up in the chat and look there. For some reason, I can't spot it in the chat. It's like so many chats went that I'm like looking in the chat. But maybe you can explain it. So like, because it would be interesting. Like I'm always looking for new marketing strategies. Like, would I say, hey, I've got a new course, 9.99. Here's the discount, and you would like send the discount. Um, would that be sort of just be the basic of it? And does it work? Because if I just mass email, I'll end up in spam folders, right? Like, here's a product, it probably will go to spam, right? Hmm. Okay, let's figure out how to do this because see this if we did it, and people see this because people like see these lives. Like, there's like usually about 100 or 200 or 300 people who see this live either during or after. Um, and if we can do something, I can also put like something in my courses, like, hey, I did this and I got this crazy good result. So we could definitely also like sort of like partner on some initiatives. Um, it's kind of interesting to um, see what the possibilities are. By the way, I wanted to show people. So this channel, like I mentioned earlier, um, it's I've gotten over this like 3,000 hour mark, which you can have like super chats. But if I share my screen, I'll show you there's a whole next level of like these kinds of chats. Okay, cool. How do we best run the tests? Run some tests. Is it like I should sign up for the software and can you send me the? Well, actually, no. I have your email, so you don't need to send it again. Okay, let me follow up. If I don't follow up, it's because tomorrow morning I'm literally flying, and so I have like a little bit of a busy. Like now, I'm still packing. After this call, I'm gonna pack more. Then morning in the morning, I'm gonna fly, and then so it's gonna be a little bit like hectic. But if I get all my stuff together, maybe if it's easy to set up an experiment and if it's easy to like figure out how to do everything, um, then it would be kind of a cool experiment, and we can talk about it on the next live call. And actually, because a lot of people in my classes they want to promote their services, their businesses, but they're having a hard time doing it. And I think they're looking for. Okay, cool. I'll email you, and we'll figure out how to do it together. This last thing I was gonna do is I was just gonna show in my YouTube studio. If I share my screen, I'll show people my like current progress because I have this. Where's that thing? Is this my YouTube studio? No, this is this thing. Um, where should I show it? Let me unshare my screen and see if we can navigate. Okay, let me share my screen now. Share screen. So you see, like I just got to this like 3,000 hours. So it's like you're a YouTube partner. That happens when you have 3 hours, 3,000 hours in a year. So you can have memberships, which I don't have it yet. I didn't set anything up. And then supers, I think I got one. You see? Thanks, Evangelos. If anybody else wants to do a super chat, I won't hold you back, but you're my only one so far ever. Thank you. Super chat, super stickers, super things. I don't even know what all of these are. Shopping, I didn't set it up yet. So all these things you can do when you're 3,000 hours. But what I'm trying to do also is 4,000 hours because then you can see I'm like 31, 117. So I'm like less than 900 hours away. And then I can have ads on my channel, which is cool. Ads don't make money these days. I think is like for one view, no, for like 1,000 views, it's like $3. So it's almost nothing because it's like hard to get 1,000 views. If you're a popular YouTuber, it's easy, but if you're not a popular YouTuber, it's not that easy. And then you're like, okay, 1,000 views, $3 is almost nothing. But that's the exciting in the YouTube universe. This is really an exciting place to be because once you hit 4,000 hours and you can put ads, it's like it doesn't make a difference financially, to be honest, because it's just the ads pay so little. And they've decreased, I think, how well they pay over time, but it's kind of just mentally fun. Like let's say if you make like $100 a month on ads, it doesn't make, in United States or the Western, world, it's not a lot of money, but it's kind of way fun. It's just like more fun. So I'm trying to get to this goal. It's a little bit of a miss goal. Like it won't change much in my life. Um, but I'll feel kind of better if that's like a weird, like I know it's not gonna make a big difference, but I'll feel better. Is that a weird explanation, right? So that's what I'm trying to get. Um, these hours. So that's just sharing. Yeah, I think so. Like from your super chat, by the way, to make that same amount, I would have to have probably 1,500 views in ads, right? So from one super chat. Um, I think you're right. I think you're right. But other than you, I think people like weren't close to super chatting. So if anybody's still here and wants to add a super chat, that's great. But like, um, yeah, I think so. The YouTube lives and the super chats, but also if I do this for the super chats, it will be like, I don't really just do this for the super chats, right? Because um, it's kind of mainly for like students to kind of chat and stuff like that. But it's really for me to help people and have a kind of a conversation and sort of be a little more personalized. Because if I did it and I spent 2 hours in the one super chat, this would be not a good job. It's like you know, I probably would be better at any other job in terms of just financially. I think what has to happen is I need to figure out how to get the live streams to be like popular, like thousands and thousands of people. But so far, I haven't quite figured out how to do it. I think maybe it's one of those things that comes over time, or I just have to become more interesting. But it's hard to be more interesting. So that's it so far. That's what I got. Yeah, it takes a little time. I've been doing these lives on YouTube, I think since May, without much growth. And most of the people don't come from YouTube; they come from Udemy because I send an email to my Udemy students, hey, But if it was just YouTube, it would be very, very few people in the audience. Um, but we'll do it next time again. So next time we'll have I have a few better YouTube lives planned. I have like how to promote yourself on Reddit. I have one on um, well, the next one that's going to be better about um, app creation and all that. But I think for today we probably should we call it a day because we've been on the call for a while. I feel like we've gotten through all the topics. I didn't get a great answer for like what to do with AI. In 2 years, is it going to take all our jobs? Um, One thing I was talking about is so this jobs report came out and it was pretty bad. Like they revised the previous number way, way down, and the jobs are sliding in the United States and the economy is pretty horrible. It sounds like it's not horrible now, but it sounds like it's gonna become horrible. And if it happens, um, a lot of it is I know because of AI uncertainty, not totally, but some of it. But if that some of it is AI, like those jobs are maybe not so much coming back. Um, so that's a little scary. It's, I was hoping it would create like a buying opportunity in the stock market kind of thing, but yeah, it was nice meeting you too. I really appreciate how like positive and helpful you were in the whole call and everything I did. You were like on top of it. Thank you. You were very good and positive person to have on the call because otherwise I would just be talking into space, talking about stuff, messing with Flutterflow and making my mistakes. But you really helped to get the chat going and other people chatted too. So I really really appreciated you having you on the call. Hopefully next time you can join. I don't know exactly when the next time will be. I hope next week sometime. But like I send an email out to my Udemy students, but I don't have a way to tell the YouTube. Like I just don't have. You either get an alert or no alert. Um, but next time will be better, I promise. And I guess thank you. Have a safe flight. Thank you. I won't keep everybody. We'll end it here. We're like 2.5 hours, so we'll end the call now. Thank you for joining. If you're a Udemy student, thank you for being a student, and if you're on YouTube, thank you as well. And thank you very much, especially Evangelos for the super chat. This was very generous, and thanks everybody for joining, and good night.